YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to the Off the Schneid 2020 NFL preview series, where I'll be going over all 32 NFL teams, breaking down their rosters, their schedule, giving you a record prediction, as well as helping out with some betting tips. If this is your first time at the channel, do me a massive favor, hit that like and subscribe button, turn on notifications, and check the description for links to social media for Off the Schneid. Follow us on there as well. I want to give a massive shout out to Our Lads Scouting Services and OurLads.com for helping me to make these videos. I'm on their website almost daily, and if you're a serious football fan, guys, you need to have this website bookmarked, favorited, whatever it is. Helps me at draft time, fantasy football purposes, when creating bet slips, as well as DFS lineups. It's your one-stop shop for NFL scouting services. There's a link in the description for OurLads.com as well as the social media. Do me a favor again, hit that like and subscribe button. But enough of that. Let's get to your favorite NFL football preview. All right, let's take a look at the New York Jets. So we'll start it off on offense as usual. We've got Sam Darnold coming into a very, very, very important year for him. It's kind of a make or break season for Sam Darnold. If he doesn't produce the way that they projected him to, and for why they drafted him and where they drafted him, it might be time that they start thinking about moving on if he doesn't produce at the level that they need him to this year. But I think that he does. I think that he will be their franchise quarterback. I think he takes that leap, and I think he has a very good season this year. Why do I think that? Well, they did lose Brandon Shell, Kelvin Beachum, Ryan Khalil. They lost these guys off the offensive line. That was terrible last season. They were in the bottom 5 of sacks allowed, allowing 52 sacks last season, which is pretty bad, pretty rough. But believe it or not, their O-line improved significantly, in my opinion. They went out and signed George Fant, who will likely play one of the 2 tackle spots. It's hard to say if he'll be left tackle with Mekhi Becton. I'm probably projecting that he is the starting left tackle, and then Becton plays right tackle. They signed Connor McGovern to play center with, again, Ryan Khalil moving on, and Greg Van Roten as well. So they got some quality offensive linemen, drafted Cameron Clark as well out of Charlotte. They improved significantly, in my opinion, on the offensive line. And I think that's going to make life for Sam Darnold a lot easier, as well as Lev Bell. I think Lev Bell, it's hard to say. Lev Bell's a bit of a wild card on this team with Adam Gase. I don't know. It's hard to say if he certainly can be a workhorse back and catch 50, 60 passes and rush for 1,000 yards and push 2,000 all-purpose yards potentially. But will he be used that way? It's hard to say. It's really hard to say with Adam Gase. So either way, they have Lev Bell there, who's a very, very quality back. They signed Frank Gore, who's he's still in the league, and he's still an NFL running back even at his age, which is awesome. But I don't see him getting a ton of touches this year. I really don't. I think LaMichael Pirine is going to be the handcuff for Lev Bell for fantasy purposes. And then take a look at their wide receivers. They lost Robbie Anderson, sure, but that's a wash with Brashad Perriman, in my opinion. That's a wash. Denzel Mims, I think, is going to be, I have him projected to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year. I had him as my number 2 rookie wide receiver behind Justin Jefferson in my rankings. You can check that video out. And then Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder is a very good slot receiver, in my opinion. I think he's still underrated. If Sam Darnold's fully healthy with a decent offensive line, and Jamison Crowder's healthy, he could also be a 1,000-yard receiver and a touchdown type of a guy. I really like their wide receivers. I really do. They could definitely stretch the field, and open up underneath stuff for Crowder and potentially Herndon if Herndon is also back to full health. They still got Ryan Griffin there too, who I think got injured as well last season, but either way, they got some quality pass catchers, and I like the looks of this offense. I really do. I think it'll be their strong point on this team. I think defense is obviously going to be where they struggle. Quinnen Williams, I think, got into a little bit of trouble this offseason. We'll see what happens with that. Steve McClendon and Henry Anderson, okay. I mean, they drafted Jabari Zanuga, who I like. Ashton Davis, I really like. I'm not sure, similar to kind of some of the Patriots draft picks, I'm not sure where he fits in. He's probably a backup. I don't know if he's going to start over Marcus May. I doubt it. He could be in some of the nickel packages type of a guy. But a good solid safety to have on your roster for sure. We'll see. I don't love their defense. I really don't. Besides their safeties, Jamal Adams and Marcus May. Jamal Adams is, if not the best, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL right now. But their corners are really weak. They're going to have a hard time stopping teams in the air, in my opinion. If Pierre Desir is your number one kind of corner, I certainly wouldn't call him shutdown. I think they're obviously going to be playing a lot of zone, I would imagine, and just try to mitigate and bend don't break type of a defense. I think that's kind of what they got to do or try to do. But I think they're going to be breaking a lot more than they're bending. So I mean, CJ Mosley, again, they do have a quality player at every level, which I do like. They got Quinnen Williams, CJ Mosley, and then Jamal Adams. I like that on every team. You have to have a quality player on every level of your defense, in my opinion. But the supporting cast around them is just subpar. And that's being a little generous, if you ask me. They don't have really anyone that can get after the quarterback with any extreme consistency. So we'll see, but I think the Jets are going to be playing kind of a lot of shootout type games. They're definitely going to be trying to be the team that scores last. Is kind of how I see the Jets season going. So with that, we'll jump into their record prediction and take a look at their schedule. Let's take a look at the schedule for the Jets. I think I originally had them projected for 7-9, but with finishing 7-9 last season with a similar kind of roster, and I think that they improve a fair bit, I couldn't give them the same record. So I went 8-8. Either way, I don't think that they're going to be winning the division, and I don't think that they're going to be making a playoff push. I could be wrong, but they got a pretty tough schedule, especially at the start. And their first 3 games first 4 games really is pretty tough. So let's take a look. Low, high, my. I could certainly see them finishing a little closer to that low projection than the high. So we'll see what happens. But I think 8-8 was a safe pick for me. And I just couldn't go 7-9 or less, considering the team they had and the way they finished last season. So First week, they got at Buffalo. That's a tough game. I don't expect them to win that game. I really don't. And then at home against the Niners, yes, it's west to east. It's tough. That's a tough trip for the Niners, but they went to the Super Bowl last year. They're just a better team than the Jets. I think that's a tough game for them to say they're going to win that. And then at Indianapolis, again, that's a tough one. They've improved quite a bit, obviously adding Phillip Rivers. I think that the Colts could most likely get that job done. They're going to have the better defense, so it's not crazy at all to say they start 0-3, 0-4 even. I like the Denver Broncos, so that's going to be a tough game even at home. Thursday night game, west to east for the Broncos, but I give them a pretty good shot. I definitely give them a pretty good shot to win that game. Their defense is significantly better than the Jets, and their offense is comparable, if not better. So we'll see what happens, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets just start 0-4. Wouldn't be shocked at all. And then at home to the Cards, that's a game that they kind of have to win, especially obviously if they start 0-4. That's a must win right there. At the Chargers, again, that's going to be a must win if they start 0-4. Buffalo at home, hopefully they can get that win. If they can rattle off 3 straight after starting 0-4, you can see where I'm kind of getting my projections from. At the Chiefs, they're not winning that game. New England at home, they should be able to get that done at home. I believe they'll probably split with the Patriots. We'll see what happens. Miami as well. It's easy to give these teams a split, the home and home type of thing. They play Miami back-to-back with a bye in between. So whatever, if they take the loss at Miami, they get their bye week, then play them at home. they're going to win that game. I really do think that the Jets win that game regardless. If they can win at Miami, that would obviously be extremely helpful for their record. At home against the Vegas Raiders, I've said it before, the Raiders I think are going to be an extremely underrated team. I think they're going to be a very good team this year. So that's a tough game. And then at Seattle, I think they're going to have a hard time there. Seattle definitely will be able to keep up with them on the scoreboard. And if you're looking at Russell Wilson versus Sam Darnold, it's no question. So I don't think they get the win there in Seattle. And then at LA against the Rams, new stadium, we'll kind of see how that goes. But and I don't particularly love the Rams this year. I really don't, but we'll see. They should have a better defense than the Jets. So we'll see. And the Rams roster isn't settled yet. They definitely have to clear up some cap space. So we'll see what they do and get creative with to free up that space before the season starts. So it's hard to say exactly how the Rams are going to look, especially in week 15, obviously. The Browns, I don't think they're losing that. The Browns are going to lose that game, even in New York. If this is the year that the Browns have to be a playoff team, they absolutely have to be a playoff team this year. Anything else is an extreme failure of a season, in my opinion. And you might have to start thinking about Baker Mayfield not being the guy if they don't go to the playoffs this season. You just can't with that roster. So we'll get to them. And then at New England, Foxborough in January. That's probably where I see the split, and I see the Patriots maybe taking that game. Obviously, again, I know I'm going to take some heat for this with the Patriots and the Patriots fans because I have them projected quite a bit lower than this. You can check out that video as well. But again, with the Jets, I just don't see them competing to win the division. So you're getting 8.5 to 1 on your money for them to win the division. If you're a Jets fan, sure, but I won't be looking at that. Realistically, for me, I like the Dolphins above the Jets to win the division. But for me, it's the Buffalo Bills or bust. I'm not putting any money on any other team, and I really wish I sprinkled something when the Bills were about 4.5 to 1, but hey, it is what it is. So there you go. There's your New York Jets. Again, I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team, kind of middle of the pack, similar to what they were last year, but I definitely think that Sam Darnold takes that leap, and then you know that he's your franchise quarterback.